Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another episode of Coffee Shop Chats. Oh, I've got a bit of a leaky a leaky cup of cacao here. This is what I'm drinking today. Welcome everyone. I am Chloe the Elven Mage, full-time artist, psychic, witch and mentor from England, currently residing in Oxfordshire in the UK. Yes, welcome. Grab a hot drink. Those of you who know the drill, now is your time to grab your favourite drink before we start diving into today's topic. As you can see, I am a crazy cat lady. Above my shoulder there, you will see a photo of my beautiful cat, Bertie, who is now in the spirit realm. And if I look up to my right, there's also a painting of him. And if I look to my left, there is Pippin laying on my bed, looking at me and watching over me as I record this video. So coffee shop chats are an intimate space and an opportunity for me to dive deep into probably more esoteric and more personal topics, go a bit deeper than I would on my wandering and pondering talks. This is a space where it's as though we imagine we're sitting this close to one another with our favourite drink in a cosy space, got my autumnal clothes on, where we can just share. And as always with all my videos, I am open to suggestions of anything you would like us to explore in these videos, any topics, any questions. Please do share them in the comments. And today I am actually drinking a cup of cacao, the beautiful heart-opening medicine. Also got some cinnamon in there, some maca root, and actually a tiny little microdose of mushrooms. This is one of my winter medicines. I've been feeling a little bit congested this week, kind of that, the energies have been wild this week, so I'm feeling that it's really time to up my own medicinal drinks and self-care practices. So this is one of my favourites, and mushrooms have been a medicine that I have been working with for probably 10 years in support of my mental health. And they just reignite that spark of warm, fuzzy joy, not only in my heart, but in my tummy, which is the seat of joy. So yeah, cheers. Cheersing from my crazy cat lady mug. I've drunk most of it, but I've wanted to leave a bit so we could drink together here in this video today. And I actually got the idea and the inspiration for this coffee shop chat today from my guide. When I was chatting to her in meditation, my guide Elmara, who is really the guide who is in the forefront with me at the moment, really guiding me on the current journey that I'm on in my life, my elven guide, elven shape-shifting guide. And she gave me this idea of bringing all of the many teachings that I've received, bringing them all together into this one space where I can also talk scientifically, spiritually, and share my own experiences and vulnerability at the same time, but in a kind of an educational way. But as hopefully that I express this clearly with everything that I share, all the videos that I create. This is just my experience of life. This is through the lens of my life and my perspective. I do not claim that everything I say is right or wrong. I do not claim I don't claim to be some oracle who knows everything. I just share and impart wisdom through experiences and teachings that I have received thus far throughout this lifetime and the past parallel lifetimes that I have knowledge of currently. So you may not resonate with everything that I share, and you might have your own experiences that add even more richness and colour and value to what I share, and that is beautiful. I don't want to be put on a pedestal. I want you to know that you are equal to me and we are equal to everyone in this world. We all are connected through connective love, connected consciousness, but we all bring our own individual, unique sprinkle of magic and authenticity and light and love to this world. So yes, just wanted to express that. And so today, what I wanted to do was kind of go back to, I don't like the term basics, but go back to really kind of structurally speaking, because a lot of my work and meditations and healings and clearings that I do are based around the chakras or the energy centers. And I feel that chakras have got such a bad reputation these days of being just some new age bull, right? But actually, that is kind of offensive to say that, because old teachings of yoga have been around recorded for about 8,000 years, unrecorded. I feel way longer than that. It is a system of not just energy centers, but when we talk about the chakras, which is what I'm going to do today, I'm going to take you on a journey through them, from the teachings of the lineage that I was taught in traditional Himalayan Kundalini yoga, but also adding in new layers of depth of my own experience and understanding from embodiment coaching, from a psychology perspective, and also just through psychic and experiential. So we're going to look at the chakras from the whole full spectrum today, not just energetic. We're going to look at the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the energetic, and anything else that comes through. So yeah, it's going to be quite full and quite deep today, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy going on this journey with me, and I just want to say a special thanks to my incredible yoga teachers at the Sri Yoga Ashram in Rishikesh in India, and also my incredible mentors John Binney and Indiana Hill for everything that you've taught me and guided me through thus far. As this is going to be kind of an educational video, I especially just wanted to honour those who have been a part of my journey and my support system. So thank you. And for this video today, it's not something that I normally do, but as we're going to be journeying through the chakras and chatting about them, I was guided that I should open the space if any of my guides want to come in and share or channel some information. So because of this, I'm going to set up a safe space now that the introduction is done. So if you have got your hot drink, just put it down. I'm going to take one more sip. And we'll just set up a safe space around each of us individually and just around the space of this video. So taking a deep breath in through the nose, breathing into the heart space. Breathing out through the mouth, letting out a sigh of release. Breathing in deeply, breathing in love, breathing in truth. Exhaling, letting go of any stress, worry, anxiety. Breathing in deep, love and truth. Breathing out any heaviness, anything that's holding us back, any blocks that aren't serving our highest good at this time. And focusing fully on our heart centers now. As we breathe into the chest space, allowing the energy of our hearts to expand. Our beautiful divine spark, where our soul enters into our body, into this human form through the stargate and portal of our hearts. Expanding this energy, gold if you like. I like to imagine the energy here as rose gold. And from this spark of divine love, the spark of our soul, we're going to send a spark of rose gold energy upwards through our throats, brow point, third eye and crown, connecting all the way up, sending this channel of energy, connecting all the way up into the highest vibrational frequency of the one true source of divine love beyond this universe, in the multiverse, the source of creation of love. Connecting in from our hearts to those codes, to source, to love, to light, to creation, and allowing our awareness to come back down into our hearts. With every breath that you take, feeling those high vibrational frequencies fill your heart, allowing it to fill your body if you wish, flowing down to the tips of your fingers, down your spine, down your legs to the tips of your toes, filling your body with rose gold energy of love, clearing, healing, activating, divine remembrance, allowing it to rise up, filling your face and your head. And now, from this divine energy portal of our hearts, we're going to connect into the earth. So sending down a channel of rose gold energy through our stomachs, our navels, through our sacral centers, our sexual organs, and down out through the base of our spine. You may even want to allow it to flow down through your legs, up through the soles of your feet, creating these anchor points, 1 or 3, traveling and flowing down through the layers of the earth, all the way down into these cords from our hearts, connect in to the very heart of the earth and the crystalline codes of Gaia, creating this stability, keeping us rooted and grounded to our sense of humanity. And with our awareness traveling back up into our hearts and allowing Mother Nature's unconditional love to fill our hearts. And now with our breath, we're going to use all of this divine energy that we've gathered from our hearts and send it outwards like a light shield all around our body. So taking a deep breath into the heart. Exhale, breathing out a ripple or a wave of rose gold light energy to 2 to 3 meters out, sending it all around the body, in front, behind, above, below, either side. Let's do that again, breathing into the heart. Breathing out ripples of light, love, energy. Creating more of a solid and sovereign shield and boundary around each of us now. One more time, filling any final gaps. Breathing in love. Breathing out to create a sovereign, spherical force field around not only our physical body, but also around our energy fields, our aura. And we set the intention for these sovereign boundaries, these shields of rose gold light that only beings, energies and entities with our permission highest good, love and compassion can see us, have access to us, exist within this space, or have any influence over us. All other beings, energies and entities must leave immediately, returning to source, or to never return here again. And inviting in our spirit guides, our spirit team, our power animal, our highest selves, Source, Gaia, our guardian angels, guardian dragons, and any other beings who we choose to be with us, who have our best and highest good within their hearts. Setting the intention for protection and guidance, messages, self-love, compassion, understanding and wisdom today. Thank you. And through time and space, I expand this golden loving energy around to protect all the souls who watch this video in a loving rose gold bubble of light, shielding us through time and space across every dimension. And again, I set the intention that this video and that this transmission be protected, and that only beings, energies and entities with our permission, with our highest good, love and compassion within their best interests, may see us or access us or have any influence over us. And all other beings, energies and entities must leave immediately. And inviting in to the protective space of this coffee shop chat today, all of our guides and all of the beings who we invite in to support us today, our higher selves, Source and Gaia, our guardian angels, all of our spirit teams, and all those who wish to support here in service of the highest good, love, light of all. And so this safe is now space. So this space is now safe. Thank you. Does anyone else have that where they speak backwards? I think it must be like a slight dyslexia thing of reading and then speaking backwards. I do it when I'm reading a book. Sometimes I'll read the words backwards. Doesn't stop me though. I just found that one funny. Now the safest space. So welcome everyone. So now we are safe to begin. Let's have a sip. And I wanted to talk about the chakras today and share the knowledge that I have of them. I am a trained, certified yoga and meditation teacher. I have been for almost 7 years now. Wow. And what I always loved and resonated with the most above all about all the yoga teachings was the chakras. So I feel really honoured and grateful that I can still use that ancient and powerful system within the work that I do now, with the mentoring, the coaching, the quantum healing and the psychic work, because it all comes together so beautifully. And I want to talk about the chakras and use those amazing teachings that I was given, and it would be interesting as you excuse me, choking on my drink, interesting as I share the teachings that I was given and handed down, if you have had a different experience of them. So this is what I was taught, but also what I have found to be truthful through my own experiences. So in the traditional Himalayan teachings that I was taught, we were always taught that the first energy center that we should work with when we choose to go on a spiritual journey, when we choose to ascend, is not what you might guess it would be. A lot of people feel or are informed that the first chakra or the first energy center is the root. Well, in my teachings, we were taught that actually you should go to the first eye. So why do we do this? Yes, we come back up through the third eye, but we start with the first eye, and they are the same, but I'm just calling them by different names so that it may be easier for us to navigate the difference. So when we are embarking on a healing journey and wanting to clean and clear and shift ourselves and break free from the chains and the bounds of the matrix, from conditioning, from whatever it may be, we must start with the first eye. And what is the first eye? Well, the first eye is the mind. We must start with the mind. And I don't want to go too much into this because it's a whole other topic of conversation, but the greatest dis-ease of humanity at the moment, or one of them, I feel that we can agree just by looking around us, is this disease of the mind, or the virus of the mind, keeping us in mental health issues, keeping us in states of fear, worry, stress and anxiety. It is like trapping us in this low vibrational state of the mind. Okay, and this is just stage one of the healing and ascension journey. It is so vital that we keep on coming back to the mind. We must be the one reprogramming our minds. And if we are reprogramming our minds from our hearts, we're going to have very, very different thoughts, perceptions, and mindsets. So okay, the first eye. I haven't planned this, by the way, so this is just completely ad hoc, go with the flow. I know what I want to share, but it's flowing. But the first eye, what do we need to do before we start descending down and start in the root and start clearing and working our way up to the crown? Okay, this is so important because so many people, myself included, I've been in this place, so many of us want to be in the crown, have these big open third eye experiences where we are contacting spirits, having these high vibrational frequencies constantly in communication with us, without even healing the first eye, the mind. And this is very, very, very dangerous, because if we have not healed and harmonized and reprogrammed the mind, when we open up those frequencies, we are not able to discern which are of the light, which are taking energy away from us, which are giving energy to us, so on and so forth. So it is definitely about discernment. It's a journey of, I would say, when working with the first eye, the beginning steps before even embarking on what we may consider to be a spiritual journey is a journey of personal development and self-awareness, getting to know ourselves through self-awareness steps. So this could be, if we think of simple practices, journaling our thoughts, getting to understand ourselves better, understanding, oh, I just said something and maybe actually that was a bit mean, or maybe that was not coming from my highest self. Maybe that was coming from trauma, or perhaps even coming from an attachment or a dark being that does not belong to me. It's a journey of getting to know ourselves and unpicking the uncomfortable parts of us and putting our hands up and saying, okay, I can admit that at this time of my life, I was not a nice person. I was in a bad place, and this is why. So it's using our mind, remember, I'm saying we are saying, I love my mind is intelligent, but now I'm going to choose where to direct my mind. So if you find that you are a person who is really stuck in the past, if your mind is stuck in a loop of programming in the past, going over these situations, causing you to feel shame and worry and anxiety, that is a program of your mind trying to protect you, but that could be gold dust. So what I could recommend is sitting down with that. What is your mind looping around? I can share a story of mine, and this happened in 2019. I was already on a spiritual journey, but I was very much, I had very much gone to kind of the cosmic and creative realms, and then it all sort of came crashing down into reality, and I was dealing with addictions at the time, and I slumped very, very deeply into a state of depression. And one night I just said, I've had enough of this heaviness weighing down on me. I'm going to write about it. And I wrote 12 pages about all of, or as many as I could, probably not all, as many as possible of the times in my life that brought me feelings of shame and guilt and disgust. And writing them down felt so liberating. It was literally like taking sludge and heaviness and weight not only out of my mind but off my shoulders. And also through doing this exercise, there was one key. So all of these situations that brought me shame, guilt and disgust around myself were all linked to addiction. So not only did writing all of these things down feel like such a relief of a heavy burden, but it also helped me to gain that self-awareness. So I can't tell you what the right thing to do is, and that's why it's hard, but self-development is wonderful. There is coaching, mentoring, embodiment work, getting into your body and out of your mind, because it's, ironically, to heal the mind, we have to get into the body and become so aware of ourselves, because our minds are extremely intelligent, incredible programs, but they are programs. So we can get stuck in that program, and our mind is not our heart, our mind is not our soul, but we can reprogram our minds to the frequency of our heart and our soul. But before we do that, we have to come back into the body. So this is why we have to start with that first eye. Start with the mind, slowing down with the mind, meditation, deep breathing, taking times of the day where you just stop and don't have any entertainment or any distraction, just stillness, quiet and silence. Otherwise, we are blocking that direct line of connection into our true selves, okay? And then the mind is just constantly feeding off all of these other programs that are not the program of our truth and of our heart and of our love. So that's the first I. And why also it's important that we heal this, because if we don't work first with beginning to reprogram the mind and allowing the mind to open to being more aware and perceptive of our bodies, if we don't do that first, when we come down into the body and start unearthing some of that fear, some of that emotional pain, some of that self-hate that's there, the mind's just going to come in and say, no, not today. We're going to distract. We are going to self-sabotage. Okay, so the work of the mind needs to be done first. So if anyone is interested in this more, if you want me to do a whole video just talking about the mind, and how to come back into the body to begin this journey, let me know. This is also work that I would do in a mentorship with people as well, with embodiment coaching and all different types of practices. And everyone is totally different as well. This is why this work is so sacred, and it's so important that you work with people who make you feel seen, heard, understood and safe and taken care of, that don't make you feel like a burden, but also people who you respect as well, and who you are actually going to listen to and take advice from, because it's a co-creative relationship. Often the mind as well in the beginning can say, I don't want to listen to this person, I don't want to do what they say. But a part of that, you have to surrender to open ourselves to an alternative perspective. I'm just going to have another little sip. And in my yogic teachings, they say you have to first open the mind to be able to be in your body and work through yourself and this journey of self-awareness and this journey of expansion through a much wider perspective. If you feel and find that you have very strong opinions of others, this is also a sign of a programming of the mind, and it's finding ways of unpicking so that you can feel some level of compassion and understanding for anyone who has an opinion that differs from yours, okay? Because remembering we are all humans, and deep, deep, deep within our hearts there is this yearning, individually and collectively, to return back to a state of peace and love and harmony. There is a great podcast actually that's not mine, called Understanding the Witiko or something like that. I will find it and I will link it, because it is the mind virus. It is like a virus that has been programmed into our minds to keep us in this low vibrational mindset of worry, stress, fear, division, hatred, blame and shame. But before we can start unpicking that, we need to understand it. And before we can go on that journey, we have to start discerning the mind virus and the thoughts of programming in comparison to our own thoughts of love and of light. Affirmations for me do really help with this as well, but you have to be rigid with them. Like you can't just do them one day and feel like, oh, they didn't have any effect. It has to be a constant thing, you know, for like a month. So yes, so that is the first I feel like now that I've spoken about this. There is so much more that we could go into, but I can't stress enough the importance of taking back the control of your mind so that you get to choose the direction of your thoughts. Because whatever we're thinking and whatever we allow to settle into our mind, remember, the thoughts are always going to come in. The thoughts are always going to come in, but it's about catching them and redirecting them, or alchemizing them and changing them into something beautiful. Because what we allow to be in our mind will settle into that subconscious, unconscious, and conscious programming of our mind, will affect our words, which is our manifestation tool, our actions. It will affect what we hear, what we see, and how we perceive ourselves, others, and the world around us. This is why it is called the first eye. Our mind is our first eye. It affects how we perceive everything within and without. Okay, and we're going to come back here and I'll talk about it in more detail. So then we move down to the root chakra, which is right at the base of the spine. I'll talk about it physically first of all. So once we have begun working and opening our mind, doing some self-reflection and self-development work, getting to know ourselves better, having a certain level of self-awareness, we can come down into the very, very physical sense of our being. That is the root. And I love that it is called the root chakra, because it is literally what roots us down into the earthly plane and the earthly realms. It is what makes us human. So I'm going to talk about the physical first of all, and I don't know if many people know this, but the 7 main chakras, there are lots of other energy centers, but we're just going to talk about these today. The 7 main chakras are located and directly linked to the 7 major glands in the body. And this is very interesting because this takes these energy centers and anchors them into the physical. So they not only affect us spiritually and energetically, but they have a very real and physical connection to our physical health and well-being. So the root chakra is connected to our adrenal glands. And now these are what governs our fight or flight response, right? So that fight or flight, panic, worry, stress, anxiety, run. So if we think about our hunter-gatherer ancestors, these adrenal glands would have been so important because they would have been our hunting skills and our awareness of what's around us. Unfortunately, in the modern world, and because of the mind virus, our adrenal glands are on hyperdrive, constantly causing us to be in this state of fight or flight. So the root chakra is about coming back to finding safety and strength within our physical vessel. I nearly did it again then, vessel physical. Got my words backwards. What is this trying to teach me today? What is the medicine of this today? Better have a sip. So, calming down that fight or flight response, coming back to this sense of calm, but also strength and safety within our physical body. And I feel that a lot of humans don't feel safe in their body, don't feel safe in their home. And just to I feel like I don't need to say this, but I just obviously want to share this, that I am speaking for humans who are living in a relatively safe space. So obviously not accounting for those who are living in war zones, or who are living in very dangerous environments. Holding a lot of love and prayers in my heart for those who are not living in safety and who are not able to even fathom receiving this video, but honoring that those who are here watching this, receiving this, reminding us that we have such a privilege to get to know ourselves better and make a difference and a change in throughout humanity, and to help those who are in need by coming back into ourselves through that self-awareness, through that inner warrior strength. It is no longer time for us to sit back and feel sorry for ourselves. Most of us are still stuck in the mind, stuck in disease, when all of these things can be addressed and can be healed and can be alchemized. But yeah, I just wanted to share that and acknowledge that there are many humans on this planet who need us to come back into our full strength and full sense of self, so that we can be powerful enough to make a real difference in this world. Yeah, so the root chakra is connected to the adrenal glands, our fight or flight response, our basic human functions and instincts. It is connected to our bones, you know, that physical structure, the strength that is within us, our bones. And it is this reminder of our home, our body as our home, and going out, of course, into the earth, connecting to the earth, having our feet on the earth. So many people talk about grounding. Yes, that is a great way to connect into your root energy center. But I would actually say that grounding, in that sense, being in nature, is more for the first eye. That's more to come out of the mind and into the body. Whereas to really heal and honor and strengthen and harmonize and expand the root chakra, the root energy center, it is finding this structure that you choose. It's more, I see it and feel it as discipline. It's like building up that warrior strength. So do you have a regular sleeping pattern? Are you going to bed early enough? It's basic human functions, okay? What are you eating? Are you eating healthily? Are you treating your body like the sacred spirit vessel that it is? Yeah, so sleep and food and physical exercise. How are you taking care of your bones and your muscles and your body? What are you doing to build up this safe of strength and safety, this sense of safe and strength within you? Sorry, I can't talk today. I actually don't know what's wrong with me. Bear with me. I feel like because there's just so much to go into. This may even have to be a 2-part video because it's already coming up to an hour. So it is the basic human functions: sleeping, eating, and physical movement and exercise. Root chakra, creating a sense of safety in your physical body, accepting that you are a multi-dimensional soul in a human body, and also loving the gift that that is, and honoring that you are going to make it the best experience that you possibly can, remembering that we each have our own experience here. Some of us do have physical difficulties and health difficulties, but we all have the choice to either feed our health or to feed dis-ease. And the physical parts of the body that are connected to the root chakra are the legs and the base of the spine. And I would say actually that the toes and the soles of the feet, if you can move them and stretch them and connect them to the earth and connect, and this is why reflexology is amazing, those are what are going to help take you from your mind into your physical body. So the feet are kind of the bridge between the mind and the root. And the root is really about like the legs, the trunk, the strength, the strong lower part of the body and the base of the spine. And I'm going to ask my guides if there's anything that they want to share about the root chakra. So we've spoken about the physical parts of the body, the gland, spiritually, energetically and physically, what it means to connect to it. Also the colour, if you are someone who resonates with colour therapy, the colour of the root chakra or the root energy centre is like a deep, strong blood or earthly red. It's also the part of us which is responsible for our body's elimination, so menstruation, excretion. It's all of that. It's that downward flow of energy. So anything that we are releasing from the body, elimination, detoxification. So it's very, very important to have this root grounded, strong, solid, sovereign and connected to the earth. Okay. When we think of the root chakra, it is what connects us to all of the living beings on planet Earth. It is our animalistic instincts that make us all equal, that connect us all together, reminding us that we are beasts, that we are a part of the animal kingdom, and that we should respect and honour these physical cycles. Okay, thank you. When I was doing that, it was just like the shining red beam of the root chakra. Okay, so then once we have this strong sense of safety within our bodies and we're not in that spiraling fear cycle of anxiety in our minds, and we feel strong and sovereign in our being, and our body is functioning healthily, we're sleeping and eating in a way that makes us feel good, then we move up into the sacral chakra. Oh, I forgot. I forgot an important element. And my guides are telling me that I need to make this video in 2 parts. So we're just going to travel to the heart today, and then I will do a second video where we talk beyond the heart. Okay, thank you, because it's a lot of information to take in, so thank you. Something I skipped is that the root chakra, and it may be obvious or not obvious to some, the root chakra is directly connected to the element of earth. So when you hear earth, air, fire, water, across so many different magical practices, shamanic practices, many different parts of the world all talk about the elements. So the root chakra is connected to the earth, the element of earth, which is also of divine feminine element and energy. Earth, the mother, that, that nurturing and nourishment and strength that gives us life and energy to grow. Okay, so earthly, divine, feminine energy in the root. And by the way, men, women, however you choose to identify yourself, non-binary, it doesn't matter. We all have anchored within us divine feminine and masculine energies. At the source of everything, it is just one energy. We are connected to all. So coming up to the sacral chakra, the second energy center. Physically, you could see this as located below the belly button, so covering the whole of the lower belly, whereas the root chakra is like right at the base of the spine. This one is lower belly, connected to the element of water. This is also a divine feminine element, the divine feminine flow of water, the creativity, that creative force that in the literal sense creates and births and brings to life. So again, the first two elements are the divine feminine. Okay, so it's directly connected to the element of water. And coming to those major glands, the glands that it's connected to, so it's different depending on what biological body you're in, but it is connected to our sexual organs, so ovaries or testes. You could say yoni and hara as well for the astral or spiritual energy of the sexual and reproductive organs. So that is what it's physically connected to, remembering that energy of creation. It is the creative force. It's this flowing pool of water. So that is the physical, and it's also connected to the lower belly, hips, inner thighs, of course, our sexuality, our sexual organs, all of that part of the body. Anything that's sensual parts of the body, that feels sensitive, it can all be connected in to the sacral chakra. So those are the physical parts of the body. So a wonderful way of opening up this energy center is moving the hips, circling and spiraling, squatting, even sitting cross-legged for some people is a real challenge. And it shows how wound up and bound up we have become in our hips. And there's a reason for this. So in the sacral chakra is, because it's watery and the element of water is there, it is where we tend to store our emotions. And as we know, emotions means energy in motion. So just like water, in order for our being to feel healthy, balanced, and in harmony, we want to allow these emotions to be able to flow. But if we just take a look at the patriarchal, capitalist, modern Western society, showing our emotions is deemed to be crazy or unstable, mentally ill. There is so much wounding, witch wounding and suppression around safely expressing and feeling our emotions, that it has caused, well, you could say trauma, but also ancestral memories to be stored in the sacral chakra. And this can cause literal physical pain and tension in the hips, reproductive issues, sexual trauma, lacking of creativity. So there's a lot going on here, and this is where we store the emotional, unresolved, unhealed trauma from our ancestral lineages handed down to us. Yeah, because if you think about it, when you have sex and you create life, you're passing those fluids, the sexual fluids, into one another to create. So whatever is stored in the sacral chakra is being passed into and fused into this new life that has been created. But it does mean that we can heal it. But often when we start working with the sacral center, it can bring about a lot of suppressed emotions, especially working with memories of our father, memories of our mother. It's about going deeply into the imprints of emotional pain that we are holding into, that can often get stored in our hips and in our sacral chakra, and that we've even blocked our conscious and subconscious mind from ever accessing. But this is where the deep work and energy clearing and being held in a space of safety and love can help us to start releasing these emotions. I've been in ceremonies where I've cracked open some memories of pain and trauma. I won't go into those personal now, and then I've actually cried for like 12 days straight, and it's actually giving yourself the permission to do that, because remembering you're not insane for crying for long periods of time. You are releasing not only your lifetime, but lifetimes of ancestral pain and trauma, letting it flow, letting that river of the sacral chakra flow and flow and flow. So blocks in the sacral chakra, like I said, can manifest as physical pain, tension and stiffness in the hips or in the lower back. It can manifest as reproductive issues, any kind of female or male health problems. It can manifest as a hypersex drive or a lack of a sex drive, both ends of the spectrum. It can manifest as creative blocks, witch wounds, feeling like you don't want to show up and be seen, and you don't want to express yourself fully and creatively. The state of the energy of our sacral chakra also shows up. Actually, no, it does more than show up. It plays a major and vital role in all of our relationships. First and foremost, the relationship with ourselves, and then relationships mainly, I would say mainly, it shows up deeply in romantic relationships. And this is why there's that saying that romantic relationships are the greatest trigger, as they will mirror the trauma, the energetic trauma that we are holding onto in our sacral chakra. But it also shows up in our friendships, our relationships with our family. So there is so much to be healed and addressed in our sacral chakras. And it's quite interesting because, and this is one of the reasons why I'm being guided to do this as a two-part video recording, because I don't like the word lower, but we're just going to call it lower to be very black and white. But the lower energy centers actually mirror and are linked to the upper energy centers, and without one another we cannot be in a balanced state of being in this human form. So our sacral chakras are also directly linked to our throat chakras. So how the state of the energy and the waters in our sacral chakras affects how we express ourselves through speech, through thoughts, but also how we listen to others. So it's a very interesting link, but there's so much emotional work and trauma healing, emotional releasing that needs to be done in the sacral chakra, so much of it. And this is where a lot of people don't want to do the work. They don't want to face the pain that they've locked away in the chasms of the sacral center. But it's vital if you want to live a life of freedom, truth, honesty, love, respect, and stop living our lives through the lens of whatever emotional pain that we are holding on to and storing in our sacral chakras. So I could go into that in a lot more detail, but it's such a big and powerful energy center. Divine feminine energy, emotions, relationships, sexual energy, creativity. There's a lot going on there. Yes, okay, so let's just talk a little bit more about the sacral chakra. As I mentioned before, a really beautiful way of somatically releasing some emotion from the hips could be moving your hips, doing lower body movements, dancing. If you are in a place where you feel safe to, it could be, doing quite sexy dancing, pole dancing, things like that, those kind of activities to start accessing that divine feminine energy within you, and your sensuality in a way and a place that feels safe and doesn't feel harmful. It doesn't feel like you're giving that power away. A lot of it is like bringing that power back wherever we've given it away through emotional pain and through situations and trauma in our lives that we're holding on to, calling that power back into ourselves. And so I've mentioned the physicality, the spiritual, the emotional, and now the colour therapy. So whenever I think of the sacral chakra, I think of the most beautiful orange sunrise or sunset. It's the colour of orange. And then I also think about like vitamin C and hydration. Something I forgot, a very, very important thing I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. The sacral chakra. So when I first was working with the chakras, I believed that the root chakra was where we have our attachments to addictions. But now, through experience and understanding, it is more actually in the sacral chakra that governs addictions. And it makes sense because addictions, whether it be drugs, alcohol, food, TV, conversations, anything, we can be addicted to anything, but addictions are a mental program that we have somewhere along the line in our life put into place to protect us from accessing a painful emotional trauma. So, I've talked many times freely and openly about my struggles with drugs and alcohol and other addictions in the past, and there is so many layers to be peeled back. And this was about the story that I shared at the start of this video, the writing down the pain and the shame and the guilt, writing it down, letting it out, and recognizing that the key was an addiction that had caused me to be in these situations, that caused me shame and guilt, emotions that are stored in the sacral chakra. So yeah, addictions. If you find that you are addicted to something, if you can take time, so say if it's addiction to TV, let's just take a very neutral one. Can you challenge yourself to take a 2-week break from whatever that addiction is and write down the emotions that come up for you during that time of separation from the addiction, aka the distraction? Yeah, that's an important one. So something that I forgot to talk about in the root, I'll do it now as we're moving up. The emotions of, or the low vibration emotions compared to the balanced and harmonized emotions. So let's go back down to the root. So the low vibrational emotional states of the root chakra: fear, panic, feelings of unsafety, depression, so when you feel like everything is just heavy and dark. And then the balanced and harmonized emotions: strength, safety in your home space, so feeling like you have everything you need. So it's abundance, but not in the way, in the sense that we get when we move up into some of the other chakras, but it's this sense of having what you need, feeling provided for, sense of safety and strength within your own body and around you. Peace, calm, those are the positive and more high vibrational balanced energies of the root chakra. And then let's talk about the sacral chakra. Some of the low vibrational energies and frequencies that can be connected to sacral chakra are guilt, shame. Guilt and shame are big ones. I just want to make sure that these are really, jealousy and envy begin here. Yeah, because it's to do with the relationships. Mistrust, shame, guilt, mistrust. Shyness. Yeah, shame, guilt, mistrust, shyness, jealousy, envy. These can all start here, and then the more balanced and harmonized emotions of the sacral chakra are creativity, passion, free emotional expression, healthy relationships, a sense of comfort in your body, so this free sense of sensuality, a sense of hope, and beginnings of empathy and understanding others, and also inspiration. So not only being inspired by yourself, but being inspired by others. Okay, so I think I've covered everything in the sacral chakra. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm doing it in 2 parts, because this is a lot to unpack. So we're going to move up now to the navel chakra, which is what it is called in the teachings that I received. The navel chakra, it's called the Manipura, which I love. I love that word. You also will hear it being called the solar plexus, which I quite like, because solar, sunshine, plexus, nerve plexus is where like all the nerves meet. Another way that it is described, the energy center, the chakra, is also a nerve plexus, so a place where all of these nerve endings meet, which I really like the thought of that, because it's like all of these electric wires meet and explode with all this energy, which is what I feel with the energy centers. So we're going to move up to the last one for this video, and then in part 2 I will talk about the next 4. So we're going to talk about today the navel chakra, the beautiful navel chakra. And so let's talk about the physical aspects of the navel chakra first of all. So the major gland that it's connected to is the pancreas, very important gland for all of the digestive organs and the working of the stomach. So it's connected to the pancreas, of course, the navel. So this one is actually above the navel, so it's kind of in the upper part of the stomach, but it governs the whole of the stomach and most of the digestive organs. Yeah, so it's a big energy center, a big powerful energy center. And if you think of the word core strength, this is literally like the physical core. And what I feel is that this is why it's so important that we have to work through the mind and then the basic human functions of the body, and then facing our emotions and coming into that releasing and accepting and loving our emotions. Then we come up into the navel, and this is where we get into a masculine element. This is the element of fire, divine masculine. This is when we have done some of the work where we can now begin to start taking action and being in more of that sort of king energy, or emperor if you prefer that word, where we start feeling abundant. We can start feeling like, yes, I am beginning to feel more sovereign and grounded and strong, not only in my physical being, but emotionally, mentally. Then we can really start doing that spiritual work. But physically, you know, the solar plexus, the stomach, again coming back to remembering the importance of taking our health seriously, because the stomach, the solar plexus, the navel chakra, we've got the nervous system in there, you know, and that governs how anxious we feel, or how calm we feel, how grounded we feel. The nervous system, the stomach, and the navel chakra governs this. The immune system, so how our physical and mental health and our emotional health, you know, how healthy and resilient we are. Again, the stomach, the sacral chakra, those two main nervous systems, immune and nervous system, are all a part of this. So our physical health, as much as we are in control of it, is of utmost importance. What we feed ourselves, not just food, not just what we drink, but what we are consuming, is all going to have an effect on this sunshine power portal that is the divine masculine center within us. That is where we are going to start taking action, inspired actions from. So as I mentioned, the energy is fire, the colour is yellow. I like to just think of this huge flame, or the sun. You know, the sun is a beautiful energy source to think of. And if you think of the sun, you know, the sun is that divine masculine source of creation, of energy that gives us life and energy. And this is our portal. The solar plexus is that portal of that energy, but we have to do the work, the inner work, in order to really become balanced and grounded in a place of strength in our solar plexus. And I think that moves on quite nicely to the emotional states of the solar plexus. So the low vibrational energetic frequencies of the solar plexus can be anger, very much anger. You'll see that a lot. Anger, self-hatred, self-doubt, lack is a huge one. So anger, self-hatred, self-doubt, lack, lack of confidence. So really this sort of withdrawing of self, lack of self-belief. So lack and anger are huge low vibrational energies of the solar plexus. So when we haven't done that inner work that I spoke about in the mind, the body and the emotions, we can feel very much in lack in our solar plexus. What the balanced and harmonized high vibrational emotions are of the solar plexus are confidence, self-belief, strength, inner drive, abundance, joy. A lot of people don't realize that the navel chakra is the seat of joy. So we actually get that sunshine energy in the solar plexus before moving into the heart. It's not just the heart, it is in our physical expression. So yeah, joy, abundance, self-confidence, drive, belief, taking action, responsibility. So lots of powerful, beautiful radiance. This is where we start to become outwards in our energy. Like the sunshine, our energy starts to radiate when we are harmonized in the solar plexus. So a lot of work around money and lack of money, lack of self-confidence, self-doubt. We kind of can come back into the mind when we come into the navel chakra and go a little bit deeper into that programming, releasing attachments to poverty, releasing attachments to believing we're not good enough, and really getting that fine tooth comb and finding where it is that is holding us back from being in our full strength and power and sovereignty. Like I see, I think Manipura means 1,000 gems, something like that. Sorry for anyone who's watching this, I can't remember off the top of my head. Actually, let's look it up. I've got my computer by me, so let's see what it means so that I don't get people being angry with me. Manipura meaning. I can't remember what the exact meaning is, but it's really beautiful, so I want to share it with you. City of jewels or lustrous gem. How beautiful is that? Our navel chakra is the city of jewels, the lustrous gem, and we just have to do that work to get there, into that feeling of self-belief, knowing that we are worthy of living this life of incredible riches. And that just doesn't mean money. Richness in our relationships, richness in our experiences, richness in our own sense of happiness and joy. Yeah, this is what the navel chakra, that Manipura, is all about, is like finding that sense of such rich joy from within our core, that it radiates out and beyond us, so that we can rise up in with that fire, with that flame, and start igniting and opening our hearts. We can often get that pain and that feeling of sickness and fear and doubt in, and it's like crunching up our solar plexus chakra, and this is like literally someone crushing that sunshine and that energy source from within us. So it's so vital that we address those deep-rooted fears within us, mind, body, emotions, and then starting to come into this sovereign source of energy within us. Thank you. And the guidance that I'm getting is, I know I've given some specific ways of working with the mind, the body, the emotions, but when it comes to the solar plexus, automatically when you've done that healing work, you will be in this space of understanding within yourself where those threads of self-doubt are coming in, where it is that you're lacking, where you're perhaps not being responsible with your money and with your finances. And because you are rising in to that divine masculine fiery energy, you will know the actions that you have to take. So this is more of about becoming sovereign within yourself and trusting yourself to take the actions that you need to feel more responsible within yourself, to feel more solid and more strong, and like you are beginning to take charge of yourself and your life. So we've worked through the main physical energy centers now. The first eye, the root, the sacral and the navel, and then we're going to start working our way up to the more, if you like, spiritual energy centers, but they're not all spiritual, they're all connected, they're all physical, they're all spiritual. So next time in part 2 we'll come into the heart, throat, third eye and crown. We'll talk about how they connect, the different energies and emotions that are attached to them, those main glands that can actually affect the health of our bodies as well. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, this very, very long video. Please feel free to digest it in small parts, and please do share any questions that you have in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Yeah, and if you enjoy watching these videos and you would like me to create more free content, your donations are greatly, greatly appreciated. They can be shared at mystichearts.org/donate. Thank you so much, and if you would like to work with me on a one-to-one basis, it would be an absolute honour to guide you, and you can find all of the links to my services on my channel page. Thank you so, so, so much. Sending you love, and part 2 will be coming soon.